Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing good today. I am here with Nodrik, and today we are going to cover Pushkin. Hello, Nodrik.
Hello. Yes, we are going to cover Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, one of the greatest Russian poets.
So, what can we say about Pushkin to start a little bit? Pushkin was born in 1799.
Yep.
From a noble family, so he had access to education, books, and basically he read a lot. Should I read a poem first, or would you like to read first?
Of course, you.
Okay. I will start with Winter Road. He wrote it in 1826. Through the cool and wavy hazes cuts the moon her slow way. On the glades of sadness endless, her distressing light she spays. The exhausting winter road leads the troika full of strength. The light bell, with one tone loaded, weary rings through all time length. One can hear something native in the coachman's long song, or a revel superlative, or a soul's sadness strong. Nor a light, nor a dark house, wild and snow. On my way, just the stripped your verst arouse, and this moment ran away.
Excellent reading.
Thank you.
In Russian it's called «Зимняя дорога». Сквозь волнистые туманы пробирается луна. На печальные поляны льет печально свет она. По дороге зимней скучной тройка борзая бежит. Колокольчик однозвучный утомительно гремит. Что-то слышится родное в долгих песнях ямщика, то разгульная, удалая, то сердечная тоска. Ни огня, ни черной хаты, глушь и снег навстречу мне. Только верствы полосаты попадаются одни. Скучно, грустно. Завтра Нина, завтра к милой возвратясь, я забудусь у камина, загляжусь, не наглядясь. Звучно стрелка часовая мерный круг свой совершит. И, докучных удаляя, полночь нас не разлучит. Грустно. Нина, путь мой скучен, дремля сомкнул мой общик. Колокольчик однозвучен, отуманен лунный лик.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Pushkin was born in Moscow from a noble family, and when he was a teenager, he started reading really important classical books like Lord Byron, Shakespeare, Lawrence Sterne, and he was introduced to French literature like Molière, Voltaire, Évariste, and Parny. And he actually became bilingual by a very young age. So this is something he cultivated all of his life, to the point in which he actually gained a nickname. Can you tell us the nickname, perhaps?
Oh, Francouz.
There you go. And and those were his classmates that were giving him in the apparently a place called the Lycée, the Academy,
Лицей.
yeah, of Tsankoi Selo, which must be some pretty famous place. I imagine if it's referenced.
Царский лицей. Yeah.
And on these words, I suggest that we read another poem. Shall we read The Prophet?
The one which he wrote originally in French, I guess, because just like he was bilingual, and he wrote a lot of poems in French language as well, which are later on translated to Russian. So
It was Mon Portrait.
Mon Portrait, yes. If I'm not mistaken, it was written in 14. It's in 1814,
Okay.
when he was really young. So in Russian. Мой портрет. Вы простите, у меня мой портрет, но написанный с натуры. Мой милый, он быстро будет готов, хотя и в миниатюре. Я, молодой повеса, еще на школьной скамье, не глуп, говорю не стесняясь, и без жеманного кривляния. Никогда не было болтуна, ни доктора Сорбонны. Надоедливые и крикливые, чем собственная моя особа. Мой рост с ростом самых долговязых не может равняться. У меня свежий цвет лица, русые волосы и кудрявая голова. Я люблю свет и его шум, уединение я ненавижу. Мне претят ссоры и препирательства, а отчасти и учения. Спектакли, балы мне очень нравятся. И если быть откровенным, я сказал бы, что я еще люблю, если бы не был в лицее. По всему этому, мой милый друг, меня можно узнать. Да, таким, как Бог меня создал. И я хочу всегда казаться. Сущий бес в проказах, сущая обезьяна лицом. Много, слишком много ветрености. Да, таков Пушкин, француз.
Mon portrait. Vous me demandez mon portrait, mais peint d'après nature. Mon clié, il sera bientôt fait, quoique en miniature. Je suis un jeune polisson, encore dans les classes, point sot, je le dis sans façon et sans fade grimace. Il n'y fut de Babière ni docteur en Sorbonne, plus ennuyeux et plus braillard que moi-même en personne. Ma taille à celle des plus longs ne peut être égalée. J'ai le teint frais, les cheveux blonds et la tête bouclée. J'aime et le monde et son fracas. Je hais la solitude. J'abhorre et noise et débat, et tant soit peu l'étude, spectacle, bal me plaisent fort, et d'après ma pensée, je dirais ce que j'aime encore, si n'était au lycée. Après cela, mon cher ami, l'on peut me reconnaître, oui, tel que le bon Dieu me fit. Je veux toujours paraître, vrai démon pour l'esprit guéri, vrai singe par sa mine, beaucoup et trop d'étourderie. Ma foi, voilà Pushkin.
Okay.
Translation. Yeah, let's do a translation in English now.
I translated it in
you
Google.
want? Go ahead, please.
So, my portrait. You ask me for a portrait, but painted it from nature, my clear. It will be done soon, although in miniature. I'm a young Frank, still in the classes, foolish point. I say it plainly, and without blunt grimaces. One, he was no bulletin board, neither doctor in Sorbonne, more boring and more brave than myself in person. My size is that of the longest cannot be compared. I have a fresh complexion and blonde hair and your head curled. I love and the world and its crush. I hate loneliness. I abhor noisiness and debates. And be that as it may, I study. I love balls, shows, please me very much. And according to my thought, I would say what I still like if I weren't in high school. After that, my dear friend, you can recognize me. Yes, as the good Lord did to me, as always want to appear, true demon for playfulness, true monkey but mine, lots and too much carelessness. Well, here I am, Pushkin.
Very nice, very nice. So, about Pushkin, going back to his history. By the age of 20, he is condemned by the Emperor Alexander I for his poems, because apparently his poems are being judged seditious. He manages to escape from being sent to Siberia, and he lives in exile for many years. I think it was 7 years, 6 years, six
Yeah,
years of exile. Which poem shall we read next? The Prophet?
yeah.
Okay. The Prophet. Longing for spiritual springs, I dragged myself through desert sands. An angel with 3 pairs of wings arrived to me at cross of lands. With fingers so light and slim, he touched my eyes as in a dream, and opened my prophetic eyes like eyes of eager in surprise. He touched my ears in movement single, and they were filled with noise and jingle. I heard the shuddering of heavens, and angels' flight on azure heights, and creatures crawl in long sea night, and rustle of vines in distant valleys. And he bent down to my chin, and he tore off my tongue of sin. In cheat and idle talk aroused, and with his hands in bloody specks, he put the sting of wizard snakes into my deadly stoned mouth. With his sharp sword he cleaved my breast, and plucked my quivering heart out, and coals flamed with God's behest into my gaping breast were ground. Like that I lay on desert sands, and listened to the God's command. Arise, O prophet, hark and see, be filled with utter my demands, and, going over land and sea, burn with your word the humane heart.
Yeah. He wrote it in 1826 after his exile was slightly softened and he was able to be back in St. Petersburg. And yeah. but still he was pretty much shaken, and you can see the bitterness that arises. Yeah. So, пророк, духовной жаждою томим, в пустыне мрачно я влачился, и шестикрылый серафим на перепуте мне явился, престами легкий, как сон, моих зениц коснулся он. Отверзлись вещие зеницы, как у испуганной орлицы. Моих ушей коснулся он, и их наполнил шум и звон, и внял я небо содрогание, и горный ангелов полет, и град морских подводный ход, и дольные лозы прозябанья, и он к устам моим приник, и вырвал грешный мой язык, и празднословный, и лукавый, и жало мудрой змеи в уста замершие мои вложил десницею кровавой. И он мне грудь рассек мечом, и сердце трепетное вынул, и уголь, пылающий огнем, во грудь отверстную водвинул. Как труп в пустыне я лежал, и Бога глаз ко мне возвал. Восстань, пророк, и вич, и внемли, исполнись волею моей, и, обходя моря и земли, глаголом жги сердца людей. This poem this poem actually talks about the calling. A year afterwards, he wrote Boris Godunov, his huge epic poetical story, where he already becomes a serious poet. Like after the exile, after being back, after seeing all the changes, let's say, he wrote this poem to specify his calling, and the end actually says that my heart was taken out. Instead of this, I got a burning coal inside, and then I stood up, and I knew that my way of fighting is to write, is to say. My word is the one. I think it's my favorite poem by Pushkin.
So after those 6 years of exile, he comes back to Russia with the approval of Nicholas I, who is the new emperor of Russia and is trying to become a leader that promotes art and culture and all of those things. But the connotation to the return of Pushkin is that the emperor Nicholas I will become his specific censor. So while he comes back to Russia and he does what he loves, he's being controlled. And to escape that feeling of control, he gets married with his future wife,
Гончарова. Natalia Goncharova.
There you go. And they fall in love. And, well, that's pretty much the little part of the story. So I will read to you now To a Poet.
Yes, that's the one he wrote after his censorship was Like he just before he married Goncharova, and after his censorship was a little bit softened. It was written in 1830, and he already moved to a quiet village near Moscow. So this is the first kind of freer expressions, not that much censored. Like when.
Thank you. To a poet, do not prize the love of people around. It soon will pass, the glorifying hum, and come a court of fools and laughing of cold crowd. But you must always stay firm, morose and calm. You are king, live lonesome, along the freedom's road, stride there to where just shows you free mind, while modernizing fruits of thoughts beloved, and not demanding you to be awarded awards inside of you. You are your highest court. Severely then all, you value your effort. Well, are you satisfied? Oh, my severe artist. You are satisfied? Then let the mob condemn your verse, spit at the altar where your fire burns, and toss your brass tripod with somewhat childish wildness.
Beautiful, pretty. Gorgeous.
Thank you. I give you the floor.
Okay. I will read the Russian translation now. Okay. The original version. Поэт, не дорожи любовью народной, восторженных похвал. Пройдет минутный шум. Услышишь суд глупца и смех толпы холодной, но ты останься тверд, спокоен и угрюм. Ты царь, живи один, дорогою свободной, иди, куда влечет тебя свободный ум, усовершенствуя плоды любимых дум, не требуя наград за подвиг благородный. Они в самом тебе, ты сам свой высший суд, всех строже оценить умеешь ты свой труд, ты им доволен ли, высказательный художник? Доволен? Так пускай толпа его бранит и плюет на алтарь, где твой огонь горит, и в детской резности колеблет твой треножник.
Beautiful. I loved it. Wow.
Thank you.
So, after getting married with his wife, indeed, they have kids and all of these things, and sadly, his wife is in the end as controlling as Nicholas, and his freedom spirit that he has always entertained and that led him to be exiled in the first time is actually completely crushed by the family life and the responsibilities towards the emperor, and this goes to worse and worse, to the point in which his wife wanted to go to all the big balls, the big parties, all the fancy things. And in one of those parties, she meets a man called Georges Charles de Hickeren Dantes, which is an Alsatian officer. And a relationship starts between her and that man, which leads later on to conflicts. I suggest that we read Madonna, which, if I'm not wrong, there is an interesting story about this. Apparently, Pushkin didn't have a picture of his wife, and he really wanted it, and so he wrote a letter to her saying something in these lines. The ladies are asking to see your portrait, and they do not forgive me for not having it. I console myself passing entire hours in front of a blonde Madonna that resembled you as 2 drops of water, and I would buy it if it didn't cost 40,000 rubles. And accordingly to this story, he wrote the poem The Madonna just after. I don't have the year in which it was written.
It's 1830. It's before he got married. It's when he was dating her still.
Ah, there you go. Thank you.
Yes, it's during the dating time. He got married in 31, and this one he wrote at 1830 when he was,
Trying
in
to
love.
date her. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, I've never wished to decorate my mean abode with rows and rows of fine and celebrated pictures, to draw from guests some fawning, superstitious rictures, attending as the experts' clever views have flowed. No, in the simple corner where my labour's done, I've only ever wanted but one painted witness, and only one, as from the heavens, so from canvas, the Virgin pure presenting her beloved Son. Majestic she, and he with wisdom in his eyes, there calmly watch in glory under radiant skies, alone in Zion, with no angels in attendance. They are enough for me. Madonna, you have been revealed to me by God Almighty's sweet transcendence, the purest model of the purest joy, the Queen.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Мадонна. Немножеством картин старинных мастеров украсить я всегда желал свою обитель, чтоб суеверно им дивился посетитель, внимая важному суждению знатоков. В простом углу моем средь медленных трудов одной картины я желал быть вечно зритель, одной, чтоб на меня с холста, как с облаков, пречистая и наш божественный Спаситель. Она с величием, он с разумом в очах взирали, кроткие во славе и в лучах. Одни без ангелов под пальмою Сиона исполнились мои желания. Творец тебя мне ниспослал. Тебя, моя Мадонна, чистейшей прелести, чистейший образец.
Wow. So, after his wife meeting the Baron George Charles, the Hecaran of Dantes, and Pushkin starts receiving rumors to his ears that his wife and him are having a relationship, and he tries to provoke a first time a duel between him and that man. which is avoided by chance uh, just in time, because that man marries the sister of Natalia. And sadly, it just keeps on going, and Pushkin writes a letter to the father of the Baron, basically pointing out the insults and all of this, and then a duel becomes inevitable. When the duel begins, when the duel happens, Pushkin is shot to death, and that is the end of his story. I think he's being great. Well, a crowd, a big crowd, is reunited to commemorate his life, because by the end of his life he's really famous, and he dies on the 8th of February 1837 in the evening. I will now read another poem of him, which is Ancha.
Yeah, it's from year 1828, when he was already back from his exile, but still under he was still under censorship. So his poem is laced with double meaning. So yeah, so it's during that period. But I wanted to add something to his death. He wrote like while being exiled in his 20s. He started writing Yevgeny Onegin. His like epic stories in poem form, and in there the story went south when on a duel he shot his best friend on a stupid quarrel. That and he finished it when his wife Natalia Goncharova started getting to balls. So he started it in 1823 and he finished it in 1832, after being married for a year. And the first, let's say, quarrels started with Natalia when she wanted to go to the fancy balls and live a happy social life. And actually, people can see Evgeny Onegin. It's on YouTube. It's in English. It's really a very famous film with Ralph Fiennes. And I love this film and the story. And knowing Pushkin's life and the circumstances writing it makes it even more interesting. Yeah, and sorry for diverging the conversation. Yep, back to Anchar. Anchar is like, here you can pay attention to all the double meanings, and he's still under censorship of Nikolai.
Thank you for your feedback, for the information you're giving us. Thanks. So, Anchar. In desert, withered and burned, on ground that is dry and sultry, Anchar alone in the world stands like an awful silent sentry. The nature of the thirsty land has borne ham on the day of terror, and flesh of roots and bow beat dead was filled with venom, blood forever. The poison oozes through his bark and melts at noon in beams from heaven, and thickens in the evening dark. a tar, transparent, wan and heavy, and birds don't visit him at all. Not any tiger for him wishes, and only sometimes comes a whirl to fly away, but as pernicious. And if by chance a cloud sprays his leaves in wandering alone, from all his twigs the poisoned rains pour into scorching sand and stone. But once a man had sent a man to desert, to the poisoned demon, to slave obediently ran. And by the morn he brought the venom, he brought the resin of the dead, a twig with faded leaves, by morning, and heavy sweat on his pale face, in icy rivulets was rolling. He came and lay and fell in fit, in shadow of the tent in fluster. The slave had died by the feet of his inexorable master. The prince immediately breathed the evil tar into his arrow, and sent with them the poisoned dead to alien lands, the lands of neighbors.
Yeah. Анчар. В пустыне, чахлой и скупой, на почве зноем раскаленной, Анчар, как грозный часовой, стоит один во всей вселенной. Природа жаждущих степей его в день гнева породила, и зелень мертвую ветвей, и корни ядом напоила. Яд каплет сквозь его кору, к полудню растопясь от зноя, и застывает на ветру густой прозрачною смолою. К нему и птица не летит, и тигр найдет лишь вихрь черный. На дерево смерти набежит и мчится прочь, уже тлетворной. И если туча оросит, блуждая лист его дремучий, с его ветвей уж ядовит, стекает дождь в песок горючий. Но человека человек послал к Анчару властным взглядом, и тот послушно в путь потек, к утру возвратился с ядом. Принес он смертную смолу, да ветвь с увядшими листами, и пот по бледному челу струился хладными ручьями. Принес и ослабел, и лег под сводом шалаша на лыке, и умер бедный раб у ног непобедимого владыки. А князь тем ядом напитал свои послушливые стрелы, и с ними гибель разрастал к соседям в чуждые пределы. Yeah.
That's lovely. So
Thank
this part is interesting. If Pushkin, well, Pushkin is known for having made the literature, the Russian literature, evolve from the state in which everything was written for religious or administrative text to a level in which the literature would be written as the people speak it. And
Yes.
if he didn't really invent, that style, he's the one that actually planted it and made it super important, which led many other great authors of Russia being inspired, well, which inspired many of the other authors, like Mikhail Lermontov, Nicholas
Yes,
Gogol, Leon Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Ivan Turgenev. They all connected with his style and actually admit to inspire themselves from his style. So, in a true way, he had a massive impact on a complete literature style.
yes,
The one thing that's really sad about all this is that he's actually less famous in other countries than the people I've mentioned just right now.
yeah. Gogol and Dostoevsky are way
Yeah,
more famous than
exactly.
Pushkin. That's sadly.
The reason that happened is because during the translations of the 19th century, a lot of the translation weren't done very well, and it gave the impression to other countries that Pushkin was, well, not only was he a poet, which meant that he was less accessible, but the translation gave him a different image than what he's actually promoting and doing in his poetry in other languages. And, well, that's how it is explained that he's less famous. The combination of those two sides, poetry and bad translations.
Yeah, bad translations actually robbed his work of meaning that much, and it's sadly.
But I think in these words we should finish it up.
Yeah, it was
So,
amazing. Thank you. Thank you for choosing a Russian author.
of course, how could we not? I hope you all enjoyed these readings, and I wish you all a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Please don't hesitate to join our community. You can find the links for Discord, YouTube, and all the other social media in the description beneath the video. And yes, hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Bye. До свидания. И всем удачного дня.